Hi, everyone. My name is Jama Hernandez, and I'm with Women's Net. And I'm so excited to introduce our March 2026 grant recipients. We are so excited today to introduce Carla with Soak It Up, and she is our Amber Grant winner. Then we have with us Emily and Christina, and they are our business category winner, which, as you know, we featured food and beverage for this month. And then we have with us Sophie with Linnell Restorations, and she is our startup grant winner. And we appreciate all the time that you have taken to talk with us today and share a little bit about your business. And so we'll go ahead and get started. So to begin, Carla, tell us all about Soak It Up and who or what inspired your business.
My family ran a Living Museum of Rural America in Door County, Wisconsin. Started when I was a baby. So I grew up understanding how things grow and where they come from and how important it is to preserve everything and the earth. So sustainability has always been on my radar. But as a graphic designer, there were a lot of times when it couldn't be on my radar. And so I was in the greeting card aisle years ago thinking about how wasteful it was to be sending greeting cards. And I designed greeting cards. So I was just like very confused about the whole issue of, do you give something that's going to be thrown away or not? And then it hit me that my daughter had given me a greeting or actually a Swedish dishcloth. And I loved the idea that this cloth, which was really cool, turned into a cleaning cloth. So I thought, why not turn that material into greeting cards? So that's what I did. So they turn into soft, reusable cleaning cloths. And I'm just plugging away on making them more accessible and help with the environment as we know it.
Thank you so much. And it's
Yeah.
super cool that you can keep reading the message that's in there. So that's kind of nice. Wonderful. So let's move on to Emily and Christina with Pizzeria Coco, our business category winners. Please tell us about your business and who or what inspired it.
Yeah, so Pizzeria Coco, we are a mobile pizzeria here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia metropolitan area. And we come directly to your event. We set up our tent, we fire up the oven, and we cook pizzas right in front of you. And we specialize in catering and community events, and that might be corporate catering, celebrations to make your experience a memorable one for you and your guests. I grew up in a Korean American, first generation Korean American household, and food is how my family celebrated, connected, and showed love. And that just never left me. And after years of being in the corporate world, I just wanted something different. I always loved pizza. I wanted to challenge myself to make a really great pizza. But what I think happened out of that was I actually fell in love with the process, working with my hands, just became really obsessed with just the whole process and everything. And back in 2023, I was visiting Korea. And during that trip, I had lost my job. And I just remember one of the days we were visiting a Confucian Academy, and I just had this huge gust of wind hit my body, and I just knew that my ancestors were telling me that everything was going to be okay. So I came home with a clear vision, and I reached out to the Women in Pizza community to connect with a mentor. And our mentor had helped me elevate my craft to the next level, taught Christina how to make pizza, which was really huge. And we've been making pizza for family and friends. And from there, we did our first pop up in the summer of
Mhm.
2024. and we've just
Mhm.
fell in love with it. It was just so much fun. We haven't stopped since then. And I think the main reasons we really love doing this is the people, the local community here, the pizza community. It's just connecting with them, and it's pizza. It's always going to be fun.
You can't not have fun when you're making
Yeah.
pizza.
I know. 100% agree. Fantastic. Thank you so much. And Sophie with Linnell Restorations, tell us a little bit about your business and um, who or what inspired it.
Hey everyone. So Linnell Restorations, I actually just started this past summer, and it's a frame to finish design build company that we specialize in restoring traditional architecture. And we're based in Boston, so there's plenty of that to go around. But in terms of what inspired me or who inspired me, I got a mentor of mine once said, like, think of think of how you used to play as a kid, and that will kind of guide you as to like what you should do with your life, or what kind of things you should pursue. Um and I remember when I was 6, I begged my parents for a toolbox, and it was like twice the size of me, and I still have it actually. But my parents were just very encouraging in terms of like just like the wind in my sails to encourage whatever I was passionate about, and I also think of my grandfather as well. He was just very handy and like had an amazing amount of patience, and would just like, he'd be putting down floorboards and just like hand me the hammer, and then like have me use both hands so I could be ambidextrous and that kind of thing. And I wish he was still alive, that I could share these things with him now. But and then I also think about I studied art and sculpture in college, and just that like need to be dumpster diving all the time, and like finding the things that people have thrown away. And Carla, I feel like you and I have we could link up with this kind of just like the things that people throw away, and that actually have so many stories to tell. And I think that kind of desire, as well as kind of the craft and the history that so much of our built environment is just so lovingly they're so lovingly made, some of these older buildings, and trying to kind of preserve those stories and give them new life, and kind of engage in that dialogue of people who have passed before us, and then now, like, I don't know, there's just something really beautiful about that conversation that um, I have desired to kind of participate in like tangibly with my hands. And yeah, so it's Linnell Restorations.
Wonderful. Very awesome. And so going back to Carla with our Soak It Up dish class with greeting cards. Um, Dish cloths and greeting cards mixed together is definitely unique, but what makes your approach different?
So I did some research uh, and found out that Americans buy 60 billion greeting cards a year and consume 6.5 million tons of paper towels every year. So both are single use, and you can just visualize the waste that happens. So Claude solves both of those problems at once. And I'm proud to say I have a patent, and I've been working hard to keep it really affordable so you can be sustainable and share without a huge cost. And it's, a little nudge to people. So that's really the uniqueness of it. And one of the things that I really love is that my customers, or the customers that receive them, often say that every time they use it, they think of the person who sent
Mhm.
it. And if a greeting card does that for months, it can't get much better than that. So
Absolutely, for sure. So cool. And Emily and Christina, tell us what makes Pizzeria Coco unique and approach different.
Yeah. So there are a few things, but I'll start with the most straightforward answer, which is that we are two women who make pizza. And without spewing a whole bunch of numbers and stats, the food industry and the pizza world in particular are both heavily male dominated. So unfortunately, if I were to ask any of you or anyone else to picture a professional chef or even someone just cooking pizza in front of a pizza oven, chances are that no one would answer two women, let alone one. And so that's why communities and movements like Emily mentioned Women in Pizza earlier, and Fork to Future, and opportunities like the Quarto Women in Pizza Scholarship exist. They're so important for representation and for support, and we're really proud to be a part of those communities. And what we care about even more than just being in this space is why we're a part of it. We didn't just start Pizzeria Coco to sell pizza. We built it to bring people together. And honestly, each event that we do reminds us that pizza doesn't just feed people, it does build community. And at our events, people just naturally kind of drift toward us and the ovens. They think it's really cool. They start to talk to us, talk to each other, even strangers, and they become friends with us and friends with each other. And we always tell everyone, and again, Emily mentioned it earlier, like that's what it's all about is the people. That's everything to us. And we also bring something deeply personal to this. And one example of that is our Soul Street pizza. Emily created it, and she created it to honor her Korean heritage. It's delicious. It features house-made kimchi, chewy rice cakes, and a sweet and savory gochujang glaze. It's phenomenal, and it's the pizza that most people come back to tell us how much they enjoyed it, and that means the world to us, especially Emily.
That sounds incredible.
Thanks.
That's awesome. Wonderful. And Sophie, tell us what makes your business and approach unique from others doing restoration work.
Yeah. Well, I think about my time when after I graduated from college, I moved to work for an art program in Italy, and you're just like you're in a culture that just has complete reverence for its built environment and for its heritage and its history. And you're not like I was living in like this medieval 13th century renovated convent, and next door, was a regular house that had just all of these layers of time that you could physically see. So you could see where it was built by the Etruscans, and then you could see where then a different period the Romans came in and built an arch, and then you can see like it's plastered over and now it's just a plastered arch in the wall and there's a window next door. There's just this story that's evolving, and I feel like the sentiment that I'm kind of used to in kind of my circles in America. I feel like it's fair to say that we're building for buildings to last like 20-25 years max, so that then the materials, it gets knocked down, you build a new one, and it's just completely wiped out. And I feel like the thing that separates like the work that I'm doing and participating in is its mindset is it's not like let's just build it as fast as we can and get out and get to the next job. It's really like, how can I build this in a way where it will last for another 300 years so that the next preservation carpenter can come in and see the work that I did and go, whoa, look at these layout lines, and like, and really kind of appreciate it, and then kind of on to the next one for the next 300 years, repair it, and these timber frames can last for thousands of years. There's in other countries they're still standing, but anyway, I think that mindset is really is really what sets it apart, and is really, I think people can resonate with that significance and connection to the building and the people who built it.
Absolutely. One of the things that struck me as you were all answering was just how our group of March winners were all preserving environments and structures and relationships and just making the world a more joyful place. And so thank you so much. That's super cool.
I just have one more quick thought. What if I restore a barn, and then Emily and Katie, then we'll come have the pizza
Yes.
there, and then Carla will provide the napkins.
Oh,
And we can have
man.
it set up.
I'm there.
Yeah.
Tell me date and time. Super cool. Okay, so moving on. Carla, tell us, do you have a lessons learned story that you'd like to share with us in your experience?
Sure. Well, and I just want to say I love that idea, because we could print the menu on the napkin that then they take home with them. So love that.
All right.
So lessons learned. That's a big one. So I had to think about this a little bit, but so every hard thing taught me something. And production setbacks, rising costs, the tariffs, some personal losses. There were plenty of moments where it could have been easy just to say, I don't know, I can't keep doing this. But I didn't. And looking back, every challenge made the business stronger. And by that, I mean, I learned something, and it made me push myself and push everything I was doing, and be braver. So I wish someone had told me early on that, don't be afraid of the hard stuff, because you have to just get curious about it. And that's where the real growth is. And the challenges don't mean you're doing it wrong. They mean you're just doing it. And that's the steps that have to be taken.
What a powerful lesson. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, thanks.
And Sophie, tell us any lessons learned story in your experience doing this restoration. I guess is restoration the same as preservation?
That's a whole conversation, but it's like a spectrum. So
Okay.
But preservation and restoration are like the closest one. They're like sisters. And then yeah. But anyway.
Sorry for the distraction.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I use them interchangeably, and that's all good. Okay. You can get trapped in the lingo or whatever, but I'm definitely at the start of my journey with this, and so I have a whole amount of time where I will be learning these hard lessons and looking. I still have a lot of time to look back, and we'll probably continue to do that for the rest of my life. But one kind of quick illustration of something that I was thinking about was you're opening up these structures and you have no idea what's on the inside. And in terms of rot, in terms of pests, things like that. And so there was the barn that I'm working on right now. I was opening up a wall, and there's just this massive hornet's nest. and and so it's a small illustration, but of I wish I had put a line item on my estimate for like then all of that removal, right? And hiring someone to come in and remove it and that kind of stuff. Like there's so much that's unexpected that there's a lot of unknowns, and like I think just lessons learned in terms of really you know really kind of digging into my mentors and things like that, just in terms of like bidding out a project and how do you prepare for the unexpected and do it in a way do it with integrity, and in a way that you're in conversation with the client, and kind of learning like, okay, what costs, what things do I take and just eat, and what things is more of a conversation with the client. So those are things that I think are things that I'm still learning and discovering.
That's pretty major. Yeah, trying to think of all the possibilities of what's behind there and guessing. Wow. Yeah, I can see that. And Emily and Christina, tell us about a lessons learned story with your business.
So I have my original answer, but I'm going to give you a two-parter because I can kind of relate
That's
it back
okay.
to Sophie and Carla's answer.
Okay.
Carla mentioned, learning as things happen, and Sophie said, like unexpected things pop up, right? We've obviously run into a whole lot of that. Emily and I both come from business and tech backgrounds, so one thing that has helped us big time is we call it retro, but it's a retrospective after every single event that we do, which probably sounds ridiculous, but it's a huge help. We go through like what went well, what didn't go well, and how we can do better, right? So like with Sophie, now I know in the future to maybe it's not a line item, but I let the client know up front, that I'm going to have an extra line item or an extra charge if we come across this during or whatever, stuff like that. Anyway, that's been a huge help to us. Carla mentioned it's challenges, but that's how you grow. I 100% agree. I know Emily does too. That's huge for us. That is how we learn and grow. That's something we've been comfortable with though, like I said, coming from the tech background. So it's something we've kind of put to work and has been a big help. And then my original answer has to do with Women's Net. It's just start looking into funding as early as possible. That probably sounds ridiculous. And as you're starting out, I think it's really hard. You got your head down and you're just trying to survive. But as early as you can, look into funding options. I wish we had done that even earlier. We did it early on, but like we should have done that from day one. Because it can be the difference between you taking your dream full time and really pursuing it and growing it or not. And the second part of that is, there's so many resources and opportunities out there, not just grants. Look into grants, but also like get creative with it. Look at places that not everyone else is looking to, so maybe you're looking in places where there's not as much competition. Like really get creative with it and try to set aside some time. Like I said, I know it's hard starting out, but try to set aside some time to look into what's out there and make a plan for how you can get funding, because it's going to be a huge help to you. Yeah.
Great advice. Thank you. And thank you all really for participating in this interview. We know you're all very, very busy. And so we appreciate the time that you carved out today to speak with us. And congratulations again.